Now, good morning, students. We'll be starting with the next topic, that is the last topic of this chapter, that is evaporation. Okay, now everybody knows what is evaporation. We have been learning since we were in 4th or 5th standard what is evaporation. Okay, now why does this evaporation really occur scientifically? That is what we are going to study. Okay, now we all know that in everyday life this state of liquid changes to vapor. Okay, now this is done without reaching the boiling point. Okay, so water when left uncovered, it slowly changes into vapor, like the wet clothes, they dry up. Okay, now this evaporation is a phenomenon where the boiling point of water is not reached, but still water changes into water vapor. Okay, now we all know that particles of matter are always moving, they are never at rest. Okay, so different amounts of kinetic energy can do different things. Okay, now in case of liquids, okay, having higher kinetic energy, little bit they are being able to break away the forces of attraction and they get converted into vapor. Now this phenomenon of changing of liquid into vapors at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. So the liquid will not reach boiling point. The evaporation occurs before reaching the boiling point. That is very important. Now the factors which are affecting evaporation. Okay. Now there is a small activity in your textbook. Okay, it's a very easy activity. You can just read this activity. Only reading this activity you will understand. I am not going to explain it to you. Okay, I am going to directly go to the points. Okay. Now, as you read the activity, it will be clear to you. Okay, that there are 4 points. The first point is increase in surface area. Now, what is increase in surface area? Now, whenever you suppose you are keeping some clothes for drying, you must have observed that if you spread the clothes and dry, it will dry out very quickly. So when you increase the surface area, evaporation will be faster. Okay, so surface area is increased, rate of evaporation increases. The second point is increase in temperature. As the particles of energy get more kinetic energy, they go into more of a vapor state. So increase in temperature, more of evaporation. Next is increase in humidity. Now there is a definition of humidity given in your textbook, that the amount of water vapor present in the air is called humidity. Okay, so what happens in a particular area, a definite amount of water vapor at a given temperature, that's the humidity of that area. The amount of water in the air, if it is already high, the rate of evaporation decreases. So increasing humidity will decrease the evaporation rate. Okay, so increase in humidity, rate of evaporation decreases. Now next is increase in wind speed. Now it's very common that the clothes will dry faster on a windy day, right? So what does it indicate? That more of water vapor, it will be formed. If the wind is more, it will dry faster. So wind speed increased, more of evaporation. Okay. Now the last point of your chapter is how does evaporation cause cooling? Now this is a scientific phenomenon. The particles of liquid, they absorb energy from the surrounding to, okay, now to regain the energy from the surrounding during evaporation, they absorb the energy from the surroundings to make the surrounding cold. Okay, so already when the evaporation takes place, understand it very clearly. You need energy for evaporation. So once the energy is taken from the surroundings will naturally become more cooler because the energy is taken from the surrounding, right? So the surroundings become cooler due to this absorption of energy for evaporation. Okay, now turn the page. Now there are 2 examples. One is of acetone. Now if you take acetone and pour it on your palms, you will feel very cold, right? That's because these particles are taking energy from your palm. So your palm becomes cooler. Okay. Next is another example is on sunny day. If you sprinkle water on the roof, again you will feel that surface is cooler because the water has absorbed the heat from the surface of the wherever it has been sprinkled on the roof or whatever. So the temperature lowers down. Whenever evaporation takes place, the surrounding temperature lowers down. Okay. Now there are two questions in your textbook why we should wear cotton clothes in summer. Okay. The first point is during summer we perspire more. Okay. Now this mechanism again because of perspiration we feel cool. Just now only I have explained to you why we feel cool. Okay. The body's heat is absorbed by the water. Now during this evaporation, the particles at the surface of the liquid gain energy from the surrounding or our body surface and they change into vapor. That is what is known as sweat. Okay. Now this heat is equal to the latent heat of vaporization from our body. Our body feels cool because the heat is absorbed from our body. Now second point is cotton. Cotton is a very good absorber of water. So it goes on absorbing the sweat produced, okay, and it exposes it to atmosphere for easy evaporation. That's why we should wear cotton clothes so that they absorb the water vapor and they expose it to the atmosphere. Okay. Now the last is you can see some water droplets formed on the glass containing ice cold water. From where do these water droplets come? Okay. Now what happens? The water vapor present in the air, okay, that comes in the contact with the cold glass of water. Okay. Now those water vapors which are present when it comes in the contact with this tumbler or the glass, they lose the energy and they get converted into liquid state. That is what we see as water droplets. So these water droplets are nothing but the vapors of surrounding air which have liquefied into droplets. Thank you.